The Crystal of Time. Introduction. The Crystal of Time explores thought experiments relating to the nature of space preparation and the liquid light state universe. From Your Influence in Space, we see that our body's light encompasses the entire universe. We also see that space must prepare itself before matter can manifest into reality. As seen in the liquid light state universe, along with space preparations come conscious preparations. Conscious preparations project outward, while space preparations contract inward towards the observer or experiencer. The summation of both waves creates nodes where matter manifests. However, what does it mean to have constant space preparation and conscious crunching? What could that imply? Could we not be missing a much grander picture? Did we not believe the sun orbited the Earth? Your Influence in Space gives us the first glance at a solution when it asks, what do two particles accelerating at the speed of light and traveling in the same direction look like to another? It may appear as a solid particle frozen in space. Through the use of the spirit fields described in the liquid light state universe, we see that vibrational harmony may be the deciding factor to your solidification and your journey through existence. The human body. The human body is one amazing piece of equipment. It has the ability to sense, make educated decisions, and ponder questions such as the nature of reality. It is our easy user interface that allows our bodies to electromagnetically dance with the light state of the universe. It is our mind's spaceship that glues us to our dimension of reality, as we are in a state of constant manifestation. The experience. It is extremely important to understand that all beings gather information differently. Humans' primary source of information exchange is electromagnetism, centered around the color yellow. It is the fastest sense humans have, and it seems instantaneous. Using EM, you can talk to someone on the other side of the planet with little to no delay. However, to a theoretically advanced being, the concept of communicating through electromagnetism could be equivalent to talking to someone with two plastic cups tied to a string. Our 5 humanly senses would be primitive to a being that has 6 senses or more. They could be just as smart to us as we are to earthworms. With roughly only 4.5 billion years of existence, it is unfathomable to consider the amount of intelligence and technology that may exist after 14 billion years of conscious evolution. To think we are the most advanced species is a very earthly and human thing. It is important that we learn our place in reality. We are one intelligence on one tiny island in the infinite pool of experience and awareness. Perspectives grow with senses. Every sense is used to construct a mental environment that allows the user to interact and survive. Sit quiet and explore your senses. What is it to feel, to hear, to taste, to smell, and to see? What is it to have an experience in time? What is it to be aware? What is this thing we call consciousness? Each sense adds to the user's experience within reality and stems from a grander and grander picture of existence. Each one comes from revolving around or being inside of something greater. Let us be the most primitive being you can imagine, completely senseless. We would think that reality didn't exist. Now let us scale this up in an educated fashion. Let us compare the range of senses in physical distance and the medium it is tuned to with the greater picture involved. You could say the most primitive sense is our ability to feel. Single-celled organisms have cell walls that allow for endocytosis. It is our most primitive awareness when it comes to how we describe traditional life. This sense is literally within the global realm of physical contact. You could say that distance is 0 meters for the ability to communicate and understand existence. What does the sense of 0 meters in ability do for us? It lets us know we are touching something. It lets us know that something exists besides us. The best mental image we could have is either wall or no wall. Let us now combine the smell and taste into one category. They are essentially sensing the same thing anyway, which would be the structure of molecules and if they will be harmful or helpful to bring into the body. This lets us know that different structures exist. The range, again, is directly associated with touch. You must physically interact with the molecule in order to perceive a mental stimulus of sort. You could say that the distance for this sense ranges from 0 meters to many kilometers. The kilometer distance would come from molecules being carried by the wind, but from the perspective of the being, they would not be aware of the origin. The effective distance is 0. Sound could be considered our first awakening. It gives us the feeling of vibration and allows us to be able to detect direction. Sound, or primitive feeling, may be the first hint that there is motion. The mind or the consciousness would be able to detect the Doppler shifts in vibratory frequency. It is the first hint towards varying velocities of matter and distance. Sound will not travel from beyond the earth. All four, feeling, smell, taste, and sound, let us know we are on something bigger. There is an environment in which to grow, the earth. Our next sense would be vision, which is centered around the color yellow. The concept of seeing through visible yellow light is a very earthly thing. It is directly related to the sun's maximum wave of output, which is the color yellow. In other words, we most likely would not be tuned to yellow or even have eyes if the sun didn't exist. This ability to see through electromagnetism would be our next big jump in self-awareness and conscious evolution. We can now see. There is color to the noises we heard and felt. We have a new sense of awareness. We can see to the edge of the universe and to the illusionary beginning of time. Similarly, how we can see to the source of sound and the illusionary locations of manifested objects. Our awareness has now shifted to encompass the entire universe, or at least the smooth cosmic microwave background. Our environment in which to grow has increased to the entirety of the known universe, or rather, limitations of aided visual perception. However, to say that is all would not be to understand how our senses have been developing. We are all one awareness, coming from the more primitive single cell. In a fashion, we are one being, becoming more aware. Now let us explore our sense of time and compare that to the now and to the visual spectrum. Could not the past and future physically still exist, just like longer and shorter wavelengths of sound and light than our now may perceive? Either way, one thing is for certain. We do see and experience time. We are in time. Just like the universe, just like the solar system, just like the planet Earth, we are in or on time. We revolve around the center of time. The flowing nature of past, present, and future is a limitation to our perception and cognitive ability. We are, however, orbiting and flowing through the crystal of time. The crystal of time. Let us now examine existence as if we are in a universe that orbits through the crystal of time. Our physical experience gives us that of space and conscious preparations, a constant crunching of electromagnetism to matter's manifestation. One way that is achieved by stationary motion would be by the body being at constant acceleration at light speed through an ocean of infinitely long-scaled waveforms. There are two basic motions associated with never-ending smooth constant acceleration. One would be to have a continuous force from behind, and the other is to be in a constant orbit while changing directions in a circular path or arc. The Big Bang. Let us quickly cover what is currently accepted. From the evidence, there was a Big Bang followed by subatomic lava. The subatomic particles then coalesced and formed elements, and so on. There is much evidence to suggest this is the case. However, what was the source of the Big Bang? Why did it take time for subatomic particles to come into existence? Why is the universe expanding? Where is it going? There are many questions left unanswered. With every new sense of awareness comes a new sense to question and a new realm to explore. With our new model, the crystal of time, let us see if we can answer some of the questions associated with the Big Bang theory. The moment when the universe collided with time. Consider our single-celled organism with its single sense of wall or no wall. This sense let us know of a physical body, the Earth. The sense of light let us know of physical bodies, the sun, and universe. Here too we will say that our sense of time, our clock, lets us know there is a physical structure. It is the crystal of time. The Big Bang was when our universe collided with the crystal of time. At that initial moment, science argues that particles did not exist and yet time did not exist. Here we say time existed before our universe entered. Let us take a look at a universe that is on a collision course with the center of time. The very first event would be that the universe would collide with the barrier of the crystal. This event is known to modern science as the Big Bang. Immediately after the Big Bang, you could say that the universe was too hot for particles to solidify. It was in a state of subatomic lava. Maybe it was too hot, or was it too cold? Was the soup not the right temperature or nature to solidify? Is that a fundamental property of the universe or time? Subatomic Goldilocks. Let us consider the concept of the Goldilocks paradox for the planets within our solar system. It was said that Venus was too hot for life, Mars was too cold. However, Earth was just right for life to flourish. Earth is in what we call the habitable zone around the Sun. It is the distance from the star that allows for water to be in all three phases, solid, liquid, and gas. When the universe first entered time, it does not seem to have been in a favorable location for subatomic particles to form. You could say that time was too hot and dense there. There was a sort of thick crust of time as the universe collided, breaking through, then sinking deep. Subatomic particles started to solidify as the universe found a more favorable position in the orbit of time, one where matter could exist and light could travel. What is that boundary distance from the center of time where matter exists? What could potentially create this subatomic Goldilocks zone? Perhaps it is the moment or place of conscious crunching. It is where the acceleration towards center is equal to the speed of light. It is where matter is in constant manifestation. What does that mean? What could that imply? Could there be other distances from the center of time where matter may manifest and therefore physical reality? Is there another distance from the center to where peaks of manifestation may overlap? Let us logically think of how waves overlap to create nodes of manifestations. It may be logical to think that for every common factor of event distance from center, a reality may be habitable. Event distance from center. The wave in the image depicts an event. Consider the multiple habitable zones as depicted in the image above. Each one of these zones is at a harmonic distance from the center. There would be zones between where our ability of conscious crunching would not overlap properly with the space preparations to create a constant and steady state of manifested reality. In these fluid zones of time, realities as we know it would not make much sense because our bodies would not be able to manifest. We, and all matter, would be solely mind and spirit. You could imagine the first distance of habitability would be that of one wavelength from center. The next distance would be that of two wavelengths, and so on. As we approach the habitable zones from the fluid, we would see matter begin to coalesce and universes filled with galaxies emerging. The same event may be experienced completely different depending on which habitable zone you are in. The zone of residence may be determined by the original amount of energy the universe had when it first entered time, and potentially how long it has been orbiting or existing within time. What would be the differences between habitable zones? You can imagine that your centripetal acceleration is equal to the velocity squared divided by the radius. By examining the relationship between acceleration and radius, a velocity may be equated. For example, our acceleration must be equal to the speed of light. Therefore, a is equal to 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second squared. This leaves two variables which may decide the locations of safe habitable zones for human consciousness: velocity and radius.